The front differential needs 80, 90 gear oil or 75, 80, which is a synthetic. Either one will be fine. From what I've found, you really need to get about 5 quarts for both differentials to make sure you're 100% full and allow for some loss. On these trucks, you need to make sure you grease the front end. You've got grease fittings on the bottom of your tie rod ends. There's no grease fittings on your ball joints. Then you have another one over here, and then you've got 2 more on your drag link. I've got 2 on my sway bar bushing because I've got urethane sway bar bushings on this truck. Going on back, there's on the drive shaft slip yoke. It might be a little hard to see, but on the drive shaft slip yoke you have a grease fitting. It doesn't need a lot of grease, but you need to make sure it's greased too. But I usually drain my transmission fluid once a year and refill it. No more than a quart of Dextron cost. You're not going to spend a ton of money on it. But it's something you really need to keep full. It usually takes about 4 quarts every year when I service it. This truck has a new process 203 transfer case. So it holds 3.5 to 4 quarts of 1030 or 1040. If you put gear oil in this transfer case, you will ruin the chain. If you put automatic transmission fluid, you will ruin the chain. The new process 205 transfer case takes gear oil, and the new process 208, which is what you'd find in a lot of your 80s Chevrolet 4-wheel drives, holds ATF. Service this transfer case, you'll remove this bottom bolt, and it's actually an open hole, and it will drain all the fluid out of your transfer case. And then over here you have a pipe plug that you remove to fill it back up. On the differentials, I use this vacuum pump to suck the fluid out instead of pulling the cover off. It just seems a little easier. It's kind of slow, but if you kind of walk away and do something else for a little bit, it'll come back and it'll be empty. The differential will be empty. And then this is what I use to fill up the differentials. It can still be a little slow, but it works pretty good. You ain't fighting trying to get a bottle in there and getting it in the right place and spilling it all over the place, and it just saves a lot of time and energy. Another thing you need to realize on these differentials, the fill level is really about right here. So what you want to do is pull that plug out, take your finger and kind of turn it down inside the hole, and you should have a little gear oil on the tip of your finger. When you open it, sometimes it'll run out, if it's hot, because all fluids expand and contract, but usually you want it about a 1/4 inch down from the bottom of the hole. Now that's pretty much how I service everything. There are ways to do it cheaper, because that pump I use to put the fluid back in the rear end is pretty expensive. It's $300, but when I was working as a regular mechanic, it was something that just kind of made things easier, so I went ahead and bought it. My number 2 go-to thing, if that pump's not available, is a kerosene pump. You can buy them for like $2 or $3 at Harbor Freight or Northern Tool. You could probably get several of them for $2 or $3. And I had a little piece of pipe made that was a 90 that you could kind of slip it up in the rear end or whatever you were trying to fill up, and it'd stay there. And you can save a little money by doing that, and you can also save a little because the vacuum pump's expensive too. But you could also, just pull the cover off and take a little extra time cleaning the gasket up, get a new gasket, and put it all back together. But that's just what I found works good for me, since I already have the tools. But I wanted to share that with you, and if there's any questions about servicing your square body Chevrolet truck, I'll do my best to answer them.